All right. We're going to get right into it today with a media episode. How do we feel about that?
Hey, media. Love it, dude. Pretty excited about this. It's good stuff. I haven't been on one of these. I got a lot to say. I don't even know what we're doing today. So I'm intrigued.
Me
Lucas?
either. Lucas sent this video, this media. I'm pretty sure I've seen it before. I know I have, but I haven't watched it since he sent it. So I'm going to try to come in with a raw reaction to it.
All right. Here we go.
All right now. Lucas, what do you have for us? Do you have anything to say about this media before we fire it up?
Any
No,
preface,
it's
any
just
preface to be made?
John Mayer is sober, and he was just talking about something to do with his sobriety, and I thought it was a really good point and well said. And so I thought it'd be good for us to talk about it after we see him say it.
All right. Let's show the clip. Let me share my screen. Boom. Can you see this?
Got it.
All right. Now, the thing about this, Cole, once I start playing, you can't talk or it will cut the media out.
Okay, I'm not gonna talk.
Control yourself, okay?
I think it's only like 20 seconds, so it shouldn't be.
Just control you.
Okay, I got you, dude. I can do this.
All right, here we go.
I looked out the window and I went, okay, John, what percentage of your potential would you like to have? Because if you say you'd like 60 and you'd like to spend the other 40% having fun, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But what percentage of what is available to you would you like to make happen? And there's no wrong answer. What is it? And I went, 100.
I want it all.
I said
I
100.
want it all.
And then
Yeah.
the voice in my head said, okay, do you know what that means? And I went, we don't have to talk anymore. I get it.
Let's go.
And that next year, I did 4 tours. I was in 2 bands.
Yep.
I was happy on airplanes. So what happens when you stop drinking? The level goes, it feels like boredom at first, but if you stick with it, the line straightens out and it goes kind of low, right? You're like, oh, I'm not having these high highs. But if you work, you can bring the whole line up.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? I looked out the window and I went,
Boom.
All right, we can talk now.
We can talk now. Let me stop sharing it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. What do we think about Mr. Mayer there in that little clip?
All right. So David, should you and I go first since we just saw that for the first time? Because we did not look at this beforehand, even though Lucas very diligently sent it to us days ago. And then Lucas, maybe you give us your thoughts or why you picked it. So that way you're not okay. All right.
Yeah. You want me to take it away first?
Yeah, you go first. That's fine.
Okay. Well, I'm going to speak on it from personal experience because I certainly felt the boredom that he mentioned talking about recovery. And as I stopped drugs and alcohol, and obviously you're used to being on these extreme highs that aren't normal, the peaks are off the charts, and then the valleys would be really low, but I kept chasing those peaks. And then you stop, and it was like my life was in black and white. That was my best way to describe it. It was just like a little dull, boring. I wasn't experiencing those peaks. And it took a long time. Like other people in my life could start to see the progress before I could see it, but it took a long time for me to look back and say, dang, I guess like the line is moving, the line that he was talking about. I guess we are like leveling up that line of just like real world experience and stuff. But yeah, you know, I also had this false, had this mentality that I was going to make it, you know, I was going to get sober and then like, oh, but in 6 months, like I'll have everything figured out. And then 6 months would come and it's like, oh, well, maybe it's at a year. I'll just have everything figured out. And like, you know, that was a thing too, where I like had to get through a couple of years of sobriety and look back and be like, I'm never going to have it all figured out, but we're steadily moving in a much better direction. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to touch on how that first time, that first little bit in recovery, it could be 1 month, it could be 6 months, it could be 10 months, which is what it was for me. That moves like really slow, black and white, kind of boring before you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, I guess.
Interesting. I think that all makes a lot of sense. I think, yeah, I think if like way he talks about the whole line moving up, I can relate to seeing like clients experience that, especially like once they start really putting together some sobriety, because they're just not having these crash outs. You know, when you have like a crash out and stuff, like your whole everything gets messed up around you, dude. It takes like a while to like rebuild and like pick that up, and it affects all the people around you as well. So I think when you're not like just having like a complete like regression, like it is really easy to just like build up to this like stable place. And I got to be honest too, man, like the highs, like they were high, sure, right? But that was just for you. Like the people around you probably weren't enjoying the high that much. You thought this was awesome. The people around you are like, this guy's an insane person. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not even like fully like reality on some level. Whereas like this, like when you're like doing it from like a sober standpoint and it's like much more consistent, it's like, man, yeah, like welcome to the real world. You know what I mean? Like in the best possible way of like, you're not like zonked out of your mind having this really intense like personal experience that you think is incredible. You're doing it like with other people. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. The guy's reaction to the video, pretty hilarious. Very much like, yeah, bro, yeah, like very classic, like influencery type stuff. And I know that's literally like the type of thing we're doing right now. But I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. And it's such an unknown frontier for people who are getting sober. I mean, like you don't really know what it's going to be. So I think it's nice to have it explained in a very succinct way.
Yeah.
You know,
I also don't know that I ever saw 100%, you know, like he claims that, I want 100% of my capabilities. I don't want 40% because I'm partying the 60%. And I don't like to admit this, but I have a tendency, I can like give 100% to something and get hyper focused on one thing. But I think for me, that thing can switch more frequently than a John Mayer, who like obviously dedicated his whole life to playing the guitar and being a performer and playing in bands, where it's like, yeah, I played in a band for a couple of months, but then it's like, all right, now I want to play pickleball. I'm going to do that for a year. And all right, now I want to get into running. So I think unfortunately for me, that would kind of cycle through a little faster than Mr. Mayer here.
well, I mean, I would push back on that and just challenge you. Like 100% look different for different people. Like I'm pretty sure John Mayer doesn't have like a brand new baby. You know, John Mayer also has like a freaking trail of like terrible relationship behind him and like scorn like ex-lovers and stuff. Like a lot of girls who like were with John Mayer didn't have great things to say about him, you know. So I think your 100% just look different, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, John Mayer's not running GT, dude. You think he can pull that off, David?
I don't know. He's a high level guy. All right, Lucas, the presenter of the video, what do you have for us?
The presenter of the video. I was gonna share this real quick because do y'all remember this?
I do
Pleasantville
vaguely remember this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Made me think about it when David, you were talking about like the world going to black and white, and in that movie, I want to say that it's Tobey Maguire and Reese Witherspoon and their siblings, and they live in like, you know, modern times, which is somewhere early mid 2000s, and then they go back into this like 50s era, and everything's in black and white, and then slowly like something unlocks where like more, like you can see in some of the pictures from it that like some people are in black and white, but some people are in color. So like slowly throughout the movie becomes more and more color as they kind of figure out this world and what there is to it. And it just made me think about that with what you were saying with sobriety, of like that at first it's black and white and then it gets more and more color as things go on, and those colors get more and more vivid. For me, though, I agree with everything y'all said. The potential thing, what is 100%? Have I ever given 100% to anything? I can have those same doubts. But I really appreciate the idea of like the high highs and the low lows. And I would say that, like, you'll sometimes hear in meetings, let's say, people will be like, my best day using or drinking is better than my, or no,
Is worse than
is worse. Yeah, no, my worst day in sobriety is better than my best day using.
Yeah.
And I call baloney on that. I had some pretty sweet times using it. Okay? And like, it was not all bad, because if it was, it would have made less sense for me to ever get hooked or addicted to it. Obviously, it was good. Obviously, it was sweet at times. Now, Cole, to your point, there were consequences and there were people around me, but there were some times where just everybody was at a party, everyone's on substances, everyone's having a good time, nobody's crashing out, there's enough drugs for everyone, you can do it all night, and then of course there's always some point where it goes back down. But there were these little snapshots where things were very high and good. But to counter that, I'd say that they were artificial and they were substance dependent. And today my good times aren't dependent on substances. And I get to do away with those low lows that come on the other end of it. But I just like the honesty of like, hey, when you get sober, like everything comes down, but it's flat. There's no like high highs and low lows. It's just kind of more of a flat line. And then that whole flat line getting to come up. So I just really like that depiction of it, because I feel like you hear that a lot, the high highs, the low lows. Now it's more stable, but I'd never heard it said of like, it becomes a flat line, but then that flat line does go up as you get more used to it. And then now my high highs and my good times, they're dependent on me starting a family and me having my first child and my second child and great times with my wife and fulfilling things at work and stuff that I would rather my high highs be dependent on than just how much drugs I can take tonight and who cannot be in my way and try to stop me from it and all that kind of stuff. Because there were those little snapshots, but they were very dependent on a lot of stuff that I don't want my life to revolve around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to bring into scope another little reality check here of it for any like families or loved ones watching this who have someone struggling with substance use disorder. But it's also not this like all or nothing. Like, yep, I just give up drinking and then I have 100% of myself to give to the better parts of life, because that's wild. I will tell you, when I gave up drugs and alcohol, I was extremely addicted to nicotine. My addiction to sugar ramped up like tenfold, and I like started to gain a lot of weight because I'm just crushing Reese cups at night. Games, I started like playing games all the time, like looking for an escape there. So that addictive personality was still with me, and it was seeping into other things. Now, they were much healthier outlets. They were much healthier than slamming Oxycontins and Ambiens to crash out at night. But
Shout out Ambien, friend of the show.
Yeah. But, we've also had those moms that are calling in talking about their son starting the program. And they're like, oh, also, I want him to stop all medication. I want him to stop all nicotine. I want him to have a really healthy, balanced diet. And it's like, you're asking a lot here.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I have those conversations with parents a lot. That, you make the first argument, which is, these are the two arguments I have to that. The first is that it's way better for me to do caffeine, nicotine, not work out regularly, play too much video games, but not do heroin, alcohol, marijuana, DUIs, jail, firing from job. Like, if you hold those two things in your hand, and I know we're not happy with the caffeine, nicotine, not working out, all that. I'm not saying that's good, but it is way better than all the other stuff I listed. The second thing is, your sober person is going to be way more likely to be equipped to realize for themselves, okay, maybe now I can cut the nicotine. Maybe now I can cut the caffeine. Maybe I want to get more into the gym. 2-year sober guy is even more equipped to do that. 5-year sober guy, so it's like, let's just take this one step at a time, knowing that if we focus on the sobriety first and like not doing heroin, and because who's not quitting caffeine, nicotine, going to the gym, not binging on video games, a guy who's shooting heroin every day and is just wondering where he's going to get his next fix, or the guy who's waking up and taking 3 shots of alcohol to have his hands not shake, or the kid who's smoking a marijuana vape pen all day long so that he doesn't, because that's just how he has to get through the day, and is going in and out of psychosis, going to different psych centers. Okay, that guy's not quitting anything. So it's like, let's get this guy as healthy as we can on those things, and 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, more maturity, whatever else would be going on in his life, some achievements, some self-esteem, that guy can do anything, I think.
Yeah, I think it ties even to therapeutic work, like the deeper stuff of like things that are more ingrained in the personality that maybe have come from like nurturing or just like a genetic predisposition to it. Like if you have a problem with like jealousy or have a problem with like humility, saying you're sorry, if you're sober, odds are like let the brain and let the body heal, and then the person is more equipped to get better and address those issues, exactly like you're talking about. Just give it time. I think what's hard though, when we talk about like physical injuries, you're coming back from ACL surgery, they give you a timeline, right? They give you a very clear timeline, like, hey, like you're gonna be doing physical therapy for 6 months. You're gonna be doing blah blah blah. You can be jogging within 9 months, whatever the case is. But even that changes over time. Like it just feels more secure because it's physical. But the reality is like get to a year sober and you're just gonna have a lot better bandwidth. Get to 2 years sober, a lot better bandwidth. We're talking about like incremental, like tiny parts. You're like 2 years, like seems like a long time. It's really not. It's really not. Like if you live to 80, 2 years is not that long of a time. If you live to 70, 2 years, not that long of a time. Think about like having a 2-year-old baby. They're a baby. They're barely figuring anything out. You know what I mean? They're just like toddling around, like they're pooping in their pants, whatever. Just give it a little bit of time. And when I say 2 years, people are like, oh my God, that's so long. I'm like, it's not really that long, you know, in the grand scheme of things.
Well, it's long when you can't not have a crisis for every 30 days.
Yeah.
And you can't stay sober for 2 weeks. You know, that's where I feel like it feels like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they say in meetings, like, it's more impactful the people that pick up 1 month, 3 month, 6 month chips, because that actually feels like realistic to the guy who can't stay sober for 2 days.
Yeah.
When people go pick up 30 years, they're just like that's a joke, you know, like I'm never going to do that.
Yeah.
But if you see some people picking up 30-day chips, you're like, that's doable. And that gives me hope that, all right, if I can do 2 days, maybe I could do 6, maybe I could do 30. If I can do 30, I can do 60. I think that's like the best thing about the chips is just those really small building blocks along the way. But then you get to a year and they're like, yeah, now you only get it every year, because that becomes the next building block is like years of sobriety.
Yeah. One thing I do appreciate about this video is it's yet another attempt at trying to explain to people what sobriety looks like, because it's I don't know, there's just a lot of like, if you're actively using or early in your recovery, I think there's a lot of stigma about what sobriety is going to look like. And you don't have like a real clear understanding of it. Maybe like, oh, I just see this guy in this meeting share and it just seems like his life's terrible or whatever. He's always complaining. I'm like, you're only seeing him for like a 5-minute check-in. Like you have no idea what his life really is like. So I appreciate people continuing to try to like share what their experiences to give people a clearer idea of what it could look like. All that said, it's kind of like having a baby. Like you think you know until you get in it and you didn't know shit. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, like they'll tell you, hey man, like you're going to love this baby like in a crazy way. You're like, all right, cool. Sounds good. Hey dude, like you're going to be really tired and like stressed out. All right, cool. I get it. But you don't get it. You know what I mean? That's just a part of being a human being. We can like understand something logically, but we have to experience it to truly get it in our bones, you know? And that's part of the sobriety thing too, I think. You know, you can like logically get it, which that's why I appreciate people trying to explain it. But you also just got to live it to really get it, you know?
Yeah. I would agree with you there on the baby thing. And what I was going to tag onto that is there are a few things that have happened in my lifetime that feel kind of similar to getting sober. And what goes behind that, another one is like starting a business. Same with having a baby. Like there's no amount of information that another parent can give you about having a baby is going to prepare you for having that baby and then being in the trenches for the first little bit. Or no, an infinite amount of businessmen with an infinite amount of information about starting a business is going to prepare you for what it's like being in the trenches of starting a business and the highs and lows that come with that. And it's the same with recovery. It's one of those things where you just have to like, I love the age old saying of burn the boats. You got to get over there. You got to burn your boat and say, I'm not going back, and commit and be consistent with like the things that people are telling you to do.
Yeah, I think they're all really similar. Another one that makes me think of is like going to sober living. Because I always tell guys when I'm talking to them on the phone, and parents too, I'm like, I could talk, especially the guys. So I'm like, I could talk to you for the next 12 hours about every single thing I could think about in the sober living, rules, possible things that could pop up, whatever. And chances are good you're going to walk out of this room and within 30 minutes or an hour have questions that I didn't cover. Because like you're living your life here, and you're living your life here probably for the first, if not the first few times sober. So that's all new, and just tons of stuff is going to pop up, and we're going to have to figure it out as we go. You know, so like I just can't tell you every possible thing that's going to make it to where you feel super comfortable doing this. It's going to be uncomfortable. And I think that's the same thing with having a kid, obviously getting sober, starting a business, whatever it is that it's just like you don't get to know.
Yeah. But those are also the best things that have ever happened to me in my life, or the things that start with that amount of fear. And I just take a leap of faith of like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And the amount of like, that is the high today, is like the level of the amount of joy and like happiness those things can bring me is, even with things like going on a hike to a new waterfall. You don't know what to expect. You don't know how treacherous the terrain is going to be, but then you see that waterfall and you're like, you feel that level of like achievement and I don't know, just happiness that is taking a risk.
You know why I think it's so good is because all those things is because I think that they are constantly rewarding you and humbling you all at the same time, almost constantly. And like anytime that you're getting too much rewards, I feel like I get anytime I get too many rewards from it, I feel like humility is around the corner. And anytime where I'm feeling like so beat down by the humility, I feel like some rewards are around the corner, and it's just constantly going back and forth. And I think that can feel very like up and down. But when I can see humility as like an opportunity for growth and change and a good thing, then it's kind of all up. It's just like, this is just a new area that I can be better with. And yeah, I got humbled and that was embarrassed. And what I thought to do was the wrong thing. And now I know. So I get to try to not do that the next time. And I got some rewards around the corner, even if I can make that pivot. And so I think all those things kind of have that in common to me.
Yeah. I want to share a funny story really quick. This is a side quest.
Side quest time.
Going back to sober living and the fears that come with that. But I was such a baby, dude. And I cried probably every night. Cried myself to sleep every night for probably the first week or 2 weeks. But it gets worse. It gets worse. There were like a couple of songs that I would just keep on repeat.
Yeah, dude.
Wallow in. Like put my back in those days I had an iPod still. So I'd like pop my headphones in, plugged into my iPod, and I'd either cycle to Warren Haynes. He had a song that was called Government Mule. There was a song called Worried Down with the Blues. He was like,
oh yeah.
In the lyrics, it's like, I used to walk with pride with my head held high, but now I'm staring down at my shoes. I'm worried down. Yes, I'm worried down with the blues, saying like he's so shameful and stuff that he can't even look people in the eyes. And I would just go to sleep to that. And this song called Old Man River, some lyrics in that song were like, I'm tired of living, but I'm scared of dying. And that was early recovery to me. It was like, dude, I don't know if I want to do something this hard. I'm like kind of tired of living, but I'm terrified of dying and what that looks like, and the people that it would hurt in my life is what I thought of a lot.
Don't lie, dude. This is the only song you were listening to.
All around me are familiar faces.
That was one too, dude. I knew you were cooking something up as soon as I saw your head down there.
I'm just imagining David crying himself to sleep, listening to a song every night in sober living.
That's when I would play. That's an easy one to play on the guitar. So
it's just that on repeat, dude.
I'd shed some tears onto my guitar with that song.
Dang, dude, that just goes right in.
Hey, Taylor Swift's got a song about that.
I had to share
Yeah.
that though.
Yeah, I think I feel like it's just a lot of like grief, and I do really feel for you, David, because you were like not only getting sober, but you were grieving losing your dad, like all of it like simultaneously. And like that is a lot. Because that's like the closest thing I could like compare that to, like those feelings like that, like struggle or just like grieving, like losing a parent or someone really close to you,
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, just like really in a funk for a long time trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
There's life before and after.
Yeah.
I think there's life before sobriety, and then in sobriety, or before drugs and after drugs. But I think that, it's just different. But if I cope with all my problems in life by just instantly taking a drug and I feel better and I don't have to think about it for a while, and then you tell me I have to completely stop that, but I still have all my problems. And then now you're going to teach me a very slow, methodical way that I can try to get better. But it's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of trying. It's not going to be just popping a pill. Yeah, dude, shit gets worse first. It takes a while before it gets better. And how would that ever be something that in human nature I would gravitate towards willingly if I thought I still had the option to go back to just popping a substance? So like all the resistance, all the troubles, it getting worse before it gets better, like it all makes sense when you think about it. You just have to believe the light is, at the end of the tunnel on the other side, that like I will get to a better time. But if you don't have hope and faith in that, it's hard to get through that time. I think that's the same thing with like grieving a family member or someone really close to you. There's life before and what that was, and there's life after and what that's going to be. And life after still can be great, but it will be different.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. This is why I preach so much to families of like young adults when the parents are calling in is that time is everything. Like you've got to have time and separation from those substances and those feelings to start to build your life back up and to see the positive things that can be put in it with recovery. Landing the better relationships in your life, the better friends, the better girlfriend or boyfriend, the better job. Like so many good things can come to you when you're on the other side of it. Not many people are looking to be best friends and hire the ones who are in the trenches of addiction. I wasn't a very hireable guy when I was in it. My dad hired me.
What was your first job in recovery?
First job, I was laying footers for houses, like laying the rebar down on the ground. And then my second was a package runner for UPS.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Funny story with that is I'm sober. I'm 23, being a package runner for UPS. My UPS driver, who I'm in the van with, he's like in his 60s, about to retire in a year and a half. He's like, yeah, I'm like almost done. This has been such a good career. But meanwhile, on our like trips, he's snorting cocaine off of packages in the back and rolling up joints. It was like my last week there at UPS running packages. He backed into somebody's car.
Yeah.
And UPS sends a person out to drug test him, breathalyze, or they make him go right back into UPS and drug test, breathalyze. They send someone out to get a report on what happened. And they let him go. Like he didn't get to finish out his time with UPS. That was a good lesson for me too. And, being a 23-year-old, seeing that like, gosh, this dude's in his 60s still doing this. And look at where that just landed him. I don't want to be in that place when I'm 65 years old.
Yeah. Well, did you know he was doing that in the back?
Oh yeah, dude. He like offered me drugs. And I was like, man, hey dude, I don't care what you do, but I honestly just got sober and I'm like living in a sober living house and I'm not about that life anymore.
It's also fascinating too, like, how like when's the last time you were offered cocaine? Do you know what I mean? Think about the frequency in which it happened when you're early recovery versus now.
Oh, that's a thing, Cole. I don't know if you know that, but that's a thing.
Tell me
I've been
more.
offered way more drugs in sobriety than I ever was in
That's
addiction.
fascinating.
I feel like you get sober, and I've had crazy stuff where I was walking down the street in Nashville once, and this guy came up and was just like, "Hey man, do you want this weed? We're about to like go on a flight, and we can't take it with us, and I'm looking for someone to give it to." You're like,
Yeah.
dude, where were you a year ago?
Where have you been all my life?
Yeah. Now you're here, dude. It's too late. I'm done.
When was the last time y'all were offered drugs? For me, it was in Vegas. We were like walking through Vegas, like some like guy like grabbed me, was like, "You want some H? You want some H?" I'm like right there by the what's the one with the big fountains?
Bellagio.
We were right there.
Yeah.
We were walking through there one night, like this guy, like. So I would say that was like the last time I was like offered drugs. What about y'all? What's the last time you were offered drugs?
I couldn't even think of the last time. I feel like in the first couple of years, it seemed like it was all the time,
Which is crazy.
but I feel like I think there's something about like a vibe that just changes within you when you get sober longer. I could be totally off, but I just feel like today, like I don't really get offered drinks. I don't get offered, certainly not drugs. Like I just don't see that happening.
I think the vibe is a thing because I like when I hear stories from like
You've got kind of a heroin vibe to you, Cole.
that's what was so crazy about it. It's like I don't ever really get offered stuff. I don't know if because I look like a popo, but it was the same thing when I was younger. Like I don't know if they're kind of like he's a nerd or a square. Like nobody was like offering me anything. And I feel like it was just kind of like the vibe. Like, yeah, he's not.
You know what people offer me the most today that doesn't fit for my life? Military discounts. I cannot tell you the amount of times that people are like, ex-military? I wish, man. How much was that? 20% off? I wish, dude. It's not true. I can't do the stolen valor thing.
Yeah, I get offered
sweet.
I get offered the ex-military thing too.
Yeah, that happens a lot today.
Mm-hmm.
Not since I've been growing my hair out, but when I have a shorter haircut, I get military a lot, but not so much drugs and alcohol.
Yeah,
anymore.
How about you, David? You know, last time you were offered anything?
No. I mean, the story that sticks out to me the most, and it was years ago, it wasn't the last time, but this was one of the funnier stories. I went to a concert in Atlanta, and it was like an EDM concert, sober. And I'm at the front. I'm like up there getting it, dude, dancing, looking at all the lights going off. Music's popping off. And I remember someone tapped my friend next to me, and they were like, "Hey, he's on acid? What?" And then they tapped me, and they were like, "Hey, can I have some acid?" I was like, "Brother, I am not on acid. I am just having a great time."
That is how you get at weddings and dancing and stuff.
Dude, I just let go, and I'm like, you know what? We're here to have a good time.
Yeah,
let's get it. And that's what I was doing at that concert. And the people around me were convinced that I
would say both y'all do that at weddings.
Yeah,
like it's time to go. We're gonna get out here. We're gonna dance and goof around.
We used to get that at the casino too. When Zach, David, and I, like earlier sobriety, would go to Cherokee.
Yeah,
and we'd just be like wilding out on a blackjack table at 3 a.m. You know,
which is not the best behavior for people in recovery.
Not the best behavior for people in recovery, but like I said, you know, there's a lot of growth in those first couple of years.
One thing at a time. One thing at a time.
Yeah,
for sure. But you know, it's a thing. But people would always be like, what are y'all drinking? I want whatever y'all have.
Yeah.
You know, because we'd always go to the table they called the party pit.
Hey,
it's like the lowest buy-in table.
Yeah,
that they like played loud music by, and so we'd be having a good time
for an hour until we lost our like $50
till you lose all your money.
I will say it is pretty fun. Well, it's interesting going to casinos with both of y'all, and like the different vibes and like different speeds in which people move. You know what I mean? And like this quite frankly, the stamina. It's like, man, you know what I mean? It's like you can tell that person's running on something different, and not drugs, just like pure dopamine and adrenaline. It's like, bro, I'm like ready to go home. Like, we going home yet? Like, oh, you're not going home? Like, I'm ready to go home. You know, like it's just really funny. Cause Lucas, you know, you were all about the Oyo and the $1 table with
Oyo is my home, Cole. I'm home.
Yeah.
I've been home since I walked in.
We're walking around Vegas, and Lucas is like, I just don't get any of this. What are these people doing? Why are we not at the Oyo? We're just like meandering, like no plan. And Lucas is just like, get me back to the Oyo right now. David's all about the Oyo for a little bit, but then David wants to go look at everything. David's like, oh, let's go out there and see what's going on. Let's go walk on the strip and stuff. So then we're like out there bopping. It's just really funny, like looking at the different, like, I don't know, just a different like focus and like where people are at during that time.
Yeah.
And I would say, like, as a like not a sober boy, I would say, like, I feel like I was able to hang pretty well, like not like being like a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but you can tell you guys are like running on something different, like let's go.
Yeah, I always tend to travel like that, and it's my wife and I have to find a balance.
Yeah.
Between my like go sightsee, let's see it all while we're here.
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
like, can we just sit on a beach for a day?
Yep. Y'all would make fun of me about waking up late. Like I was the one who I would like sleep in, and y'all were like, "Oh, we're finally going to get up. We're going to go." I'm like, "Man, we're going."
Were you the only one with kids at the time?
I just had Cannon.
Yeah, but not long. So
He's like 6 months old.
to be fair, you were like, bro, this is time away from
Right.
my kids. That
I'm like, look, we're
5
gonna be
a.m.
out till like 3 or 4 in the morning. I got my fan, I got my blackout curtains. I think I had the best like setup. I had like my fan I bought at Target, my blackout curtains. It was cold, and I was like, "Man, I am gonna live this up. I'm gonna sleep in, just wake up when my body wants to wake up." God knows last time I did that. And then, you know, just kind of meander it. Then let's go watch some UFC stuff. Let's go do this, to walk through some casinos, gamble. Ah, hell, we're gonna be out here for hours. You know, might as well just like take our time with it.
I feel like that was the highlight of the trip for you, was sleeping in.
Dude, I love that trip. The sleeping, it was I was very much say I try to curate everything to where I had a good time. You know what I mean? Like had a great time at the UFC fight. That was an interesting one. We could do a separate podcast on how we feel about sitting in assigned seats and like what it does to our anxieties and stuff. Great time at the UFC fight. Great time at the Oyo. Love the Hoover Dam.
Hoover Dam was the shit.
Listen, all 5 of you listening need to go see the Hoover Dam if you haven't seen it. It was amazing. A little tidbit about it. The dam for parts of the year on 2 different time zones. Because if I'm not mistaken, right, like doesn't Arizona doesn't do daylight savings, but Nevada does. So when it's like Nevada could be, you have one side of the dam, it's like an hour ahead or behind versus the other side. Very, very interesting. So yeah, the Hoover Dam was legit.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Me too.
Great trip. A lot of fun.
The only bummer was I wish that we went to a meeting out there, because I like going to meetings in different places.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it's way different, like way more different than I would think of it being such like a universal thing, 12-step meetings and stuff, but especially out west.
A Vegas meeting would have been pretty sick, dude.
Well, dude, they'll just be like, actually meetings out here are 2 hours and there's a 15-minute intercession or like intermission in the middle of it. And just like stuff that's so different, you know, where you're like, what is that about? And they're like, we don't do chips. We do, I don't know, shoes. Not shoes. We do stops.
Look at our shoes.
But like, yeah, poker chips in Vegas actually be pretty fitting. So they probably do chips.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Lyle and I went to a meeting in Nashville when we went on a conference there. We did an Orlando meeting. We went down there. We did do Orlando meeting. That was fun. Yeah, I think a Vegas meeting would have been a lot of fun too. I agree.
Just always cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can do them anywhere. You can do them in Thailand. You can do them in Portugal.
Well,
Cool.
Our step up house manager is in China right now, and he's going to be going to a meeting there while he's there. So I'm excited to hear about that. If it's like just like expats, like American people that are visiting there, or if it's mixed in with the Chinese population also. and what language it's in. And I mean, I got so many questions for when he gets back.
I am very much enjoying the thought of him going into an AA meeting in China because that is hilarious.
God, I have such a funny story about that, but he would be mortified if I told it on here. So I'll tell y'all after.
Yeah, don't do that to him.
He may we're reserving the right to have him on the podcast if I can ever convince him to do it.
Bro, come
If he does,
on.
I don't want people to know.
Honor, let's go. Golly. That'd be so fun.
He's got to get on here. Actually, hold that against him. Be like, hey, I'm going to tell people this story if you don't come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was
coercion,
also-
extortion. Now we're
He
talking.
was also in Vegas. He could have some of his own Vegas stories.
Yeah.
He was there as well. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we've side quested a lot. You want to wrap it up here?
Wrap it up.
Well, I think it's side quest, but it also is worth noting. You're talking about Thailand, Portugal, Vegas, Orlando, wherever else. These are all trips y'all took while sober and had fantastic times. So this is like to John Mayer point about like the whole line comes up and it's like, I don't know. I would say it's on a kind of like a different realm. Like this is what like true like satisfaction in life looks like. So
Yeah.
it does somewhat connect.
Yeah. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have seen past Fitzgerald, Georgia. That would have probably been my grave had I not stopped using. But getting sober has allowed me to see so much, so much more.
Mm-hmm.
People of the world, of business, of you name it.
Mm-hmm.
Down to having a baby and hearing my mom say in the delivery room, I never thought I'd see this day.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's life right there.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
That's a high line.
Cool. Let's wrap her up.
Sounds good. All
Zip
right.
it up, Dave.
So long, suckers.